What do you need?
Sure.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Colors of the Los Santos Panic or the Boars. Purple. Because they are the brews on the face
Okay.
of this city. While
All right.
some thugs obviously prefer four wheels, other desperados prefer two.
Just gonna do some GTA for a little bit. Haven't done an acid lab sale in a while. So I'm just gonna do that and hopefully make some good progress.
Tom Connors here. How can I help you, sir?
Then once I'm done with that, I'll more than likely move on to Diablo. I want to try to finish up the game on Hell mode. Or not Hell mode, sorry, Inferno. The highest difficulty.
I think his agent is in his ear.
So let me go ahead and move this around. I'm kind of surprised why Metal Gear Solid Delta Rant didn't get much traction, considering that it's a new release or whatever. Okay, new release, whatever. I know it's technically an overhaul, whatever, the equivalent of Demon Souls, but it's I'm sure just like with Silent Hill 2, it's gonna get all the passing praise in the world, and I'm not really for it, honestly. And even just recently finishing the subsistence version, which I actually have a copy lying around, but unfortunately the main disc doesn't work, which is a bit of a bummer. But I did actually finally get around to beating it, albeit just on very easy and having the whatever the fuck, the extra camos and shit ready to go. But I definitely have to say that the gameplay is... it's okay. I still think Metal Gear Solid 2 is much more intriguing, but... I know storyline-wise, Metal Gear Solid 3, for the most part, is regarded as pretty good. Definitely not a fan of the Rykov, though. I just feel like that's more like a fuck you to people who actually liked his character in Metal Gear Solid 2. It's very clear that it was there just to piss off people who were, like, into writing or whatever, and not just for the other bits. It just felt really dumb. I think Jay's Reviews did a really good video about that bit, but of course the dude being all gotta be Mr. Positive just generally annoyed the fuck out of me. I think it was him or somebody else. They basically mentioned how they try to take so many cues from Metal Gear Solid 1 because people just hated Metal Gear Solid 2 or whatever with its changes. So there's a lot of set pieces that are there or whatever. So they're definitely right on the nose with that as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Great. Okay, it's right nearby, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I'll do this for just a little bit. It's not going to be the main focus. I'll have to see if the rest of the Twisted Metal episodes are available for viewing. Though honestly, I'm not really looking forward to watching it since I know that the fucking episodes I've seen so far, as I mentioned last time, were just complete shit. I'm still not exactly 100%, but it's it's whatever. There's other things that are also kind of annoying me, but I'm not going to really get into that, because I'll just sound like an asshole, so I'll just keep my mouth shut on that for now. I am going to more than likely try to finish up Metal Gear Solid, what the hell is it? Metal Gear Solid VR missions at least. Mainly just to platinum the game and clear storage space on PS4, PS5. Wanted to see what other games actually to go through, I guess. Probably go through Monaco 2, I guess. I need to start playing it again. I'll probably just try to focus on doing the levels though. I'm not going to bother like going for all the coins. Clearly the game's design is just not that interesting for me to go through it. But I'll have to see. I also need to start playing more of this on the PC version. I've really been neglecting that for a while. So that's nice. But yeah, basically what I said about Metal Gear Solid Delta still really stands, honestly. I watched G-Man's review of it. Of course, he kissed the ass of the game, basically, being that he's... I don't want to call him a Kojima fanboy, but I know that he has a lot of criticism with other games, but gives other types of games a pass. Like, I know people gave him a lot of shit when he did his Starfield and Star Wars Outlaws review, which I will stand it, he can like whatever games that other people don't, but my big issue is that it's when he gets called out for being a shell, and then he cries about it on the XCOM, which is one thing, but then he'll like argue about people over the stupidest shit, so it's like, it's kind of hard to take him seriously sometimes when, if other people were to make a similar point he was making, then you'll just fucking argue about it like a fucking child, so... It's kind of disappointing because I actually really liked a lot of his reviews, honestly. You know, it's a lot of his old reviews I still think hold up pretty well. Even his old Turok 3 review was pretty decent compared to his newer ones, but whatever. Wow, I actually died. Well, dying doesn't really matter much in this delivery mission, but it's still annoying. I think recently he did like a video talking about the new Shinobi game, which now I've even less interested since he blatantly compared the game to Doom Eternal with his title, so I didn't even bother watching, honestly. I know that the people who made Streets of 4 made it, so I just have no interest in it. It's, after how they did Streets of Rage 4, I just can't be bothered to. I'd rather just play Shinobi 3 again. Except the one good game in the series. I know the original Shinobi was kind of infamous for having various revisions to sort of fix the copyright bullshit, but even just the gameplay just doesn't hold up compared to Shinobi 3. It's also probably why a lot of compilations of Sega games probably didn't include the original, was because of all those damn revisions of one version you're fighting Spider-Man, and then another version you're fighting Batman or some shit. I think one boss in Shinobi 3 was kind of like a reference to that with Mechagodzilla shit, but it wasn't like 9 different versions of the fucking game. Sure, it lacked an actual story, but it was an old school game at best, and it definitely had a great soundtrack. So that's always nice to see. Of course, here. There we go. Very easy delivery. Only one death and other bullshit, so nothing worth complaining about, I guess. Well.
See ya. Hello, hello.
There's a new survival map where it uses the Kaio Island, but it has zombies and shit. It's I guess people finally got what they wanted. You know, they wanted zombies in a fucking GTA game. Well, there you go. Fucking half-assed survival map from Rockstar themselves. Big. Just checking what I have in the nightclub shit. I don't think I have much, though. If I remember correctly. Okay, it's kind of building up, but it's still not what I exactly want it to be. But I think I can actually change it out now. I'm gonna go to the Vespucci Clubhouse. So I can, do a bike sale, I guess. me deposit the money first, and I'll make a delivery. Then I'll do the auto shop one. And I'll probably do some Diablo. Just gotta see how much I have until I need to get to Kanjali. I already need a lot more, I think. And yes, I finally did buy the fucking, the Bombushka and the Luxo. Though, now I need to get the, I don't think I have the Vigilante. I think that's, like, another one I need to get. Surgeon Pickup is on sale, which is good, but I already have it, so no reason to buy another one. Let's see. Yeah, this thing. Jolly and maybe the Vigilante, I guess.
Hey, that's a nice set of wheels. That is hot, if I do say so myself. Whoa, now she looks pretty, but not in like a girly way. You got some sweet wheels.
Oh god, it's all the way there? Fuck that.
Hey, honey boo, you look great. Hello, Gary.
What's going on, my dude? Wow!
Hey, careful.
Nice. Wait, what? I love how the animation on this is just like glitch. Nice. Some fucking X-Files shit right there. But yeah, there's some bikes that can be towed like this and others that can't, but I actually got it, the Bombushka. Painted in the correct colors, of course, at least on the Xbox version for personal reasons. But it'll definitely be useful for the few vehicles that cannot be towed. Maybe slow as hell, but I still like to think it has an actual purpose, and definitely much more useful than the new Titan that came out. Which is definitely a damn shame, since I know that a lot of people really like the Titans, and not the Titans, the Bombushka, since you can actually tow vehicles with it, or get stored in there, but now it's just degraded to the world's slowest plane because Rock doesn't want to make money too quickly, which is just fucking retarded. I'll never understand Rockstar sometimes, honestly. Excuse me. Alright. Ouch. Yeah, I guess I'll pull up on my Discord really quick because I did talk about the G-Man's Metal Gear Solid 3 review. So I might as well talk about that for a little bit, I guess. So, from what I remember, like, watching, like, I know that they changed some things around to make it more quality of life-like, I guess. Like, changing camos is a lot easier compared to the original where you had to, like, pause the game every single time, which I will admit, it was really dumb that Kojima thought that was a good idea, but it's, I think it only shows, like, the recent camos he used, so I'm not even sure if that's, like, a good idea or not, but I noticed it's a change that a lot of people will probably like, since there's only maybe a couple handful of camos, particularly the ones you get from the bosses that are, like, worth using besides the index that you get. I also have to technically pause the game too, because I remember I went to, like, when I played it for the first time back when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out, like, I remember, like, pausing the game when I was fighting the final boss, and when I came back, and unpaused the game, I got it game over, because I didn't realize that the game doesn't technically pause when you're in the camo selection, which is a little dumb, but it's whatever. But I guarantee you that if this was another game and someone complained about it, I'm sure Jamie would, like, argue with the person about it. Well, it's part of the game, so fuss up and stop being a fucking baby. I don't know, it's, I know it's a system that you either really like or really hate, but it's, I'm not too against it. But there are a lot of other things about Metal Gear Solid 3 I really like. I don't like the level design, too many points, no returns. I know, like, in the beginning of the Virtuous mission, not Virtuous mission, sorry, when you actually get to the real game, Snake Eater, there's like a section early on in that section where you just go down a cliff and there's just no way to get back up. That was fucking dumb. Then, of course, there's, the part after you fight Ocelot for the first time. That is basically a point of no return. I really hated the cave area. I know it's, like, small, but it's also dark as fuck, and it's really hard to get around unless you wait for a while or find a torch. And it's not exactly close by, or use a lot of the items which are battery operated, which is complete bullshit, but whatever. I guess it's technically a thing because the whole game takes place in the sex scene, which is fine, I guess, but it's just more annoying than anything. I don't really like that, honestly. I'm sure there's ways to get around it, but I just think it's fucking dumb. Like, even the directional mic needs a fucking battery usage, which I just don't understand. And the thing I don't understand is that it's like, Metal Gear Solid is a bunch of supernatural shit, and I guess it's technically grounded to a point, but it's like, all these enemies have this, like, ridiculous shit, and yet you still have to be bound by items that are only run by batteries and shit. It's just really fucking dumb. I don't really buy that from a gameplay stance, but whatever. I guess it's a balancing act. I know that they definitely did neuter suppressors though, but at least you can actually toggle them. So when there's only like one guard or whatever, you don't have to waste suppressor durability. That I felt was also necessary, since I know that in Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2, once you got the suppressor, the game was basically done. Since you basically just kill whoever with very little consequence. Well, of course, you're going for the big boss rank. You're only be using a handful of weapons anyway. Which I guess makes sense considering, you know, who says who are you to kill or whatever, but it's still, I don't know. It's, you don't really use your arsenal much, which is also another main problem I have with, the Metal Gear games. Is that after Metal Gear Solid, they just kind of started having more weapons you can shake your sticks at, but they don't really have like a main presentation where they just want to fuck around with the AI or whatever. Which I don't really feel is an excuse to have a bunch of weapons that may or may not be useful, especially when you're trying to go for a certain run or whatever. I don't know. It's I just find it really dumb, honestly. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like, in Metal Gear Solid 1, you technically could get away with a couple enemy kills. Because they introduced a tranquilizer system in Metal Gear Solid 2, you're only going to be using that one weapon anyway, and everything else just kind of gets thrown along the sidelines. I don't know. It's a really weird point, I guess, but it's, I don't know. It's a really dumb thing that I have. It's one of those annoying nitpicks to describe with it, but I definitely don't like the level design of Metal Gear Solid 3. It's not bad for like a linear experience, but at least with Metal Gear Solid 2, and to a much better degree Metal Gear Solid 1, there wasn't really that many point of no returns. I'm not expecting the game to go full like sandbox and shit, but like, I do like to be able to like go back to previous areas and shit and just like kind of fuck around. And there's not really that many areas you can actually do that, which just annoys the shit out of me personally. You only maybe get like 4 areas total you can kind of fuck around in, which is the beginning of the Snake Eater mission, after fighting the Pain, the fucking cliffside after fighting the End, and depending on what section of Grozny Glad you feel like partaking in, and that's it. There's only maybe 5 sandbox-like areas in the game. That's kind of fucking stupid.
You're going to steal a diamond shipment from Vangelico Fine. Our client wants these rocks.
And most of the good shit is not even in Virtuous Mission. Again, it makes sense, but it's just like,
I'll talk you through it.
I don't know. I just find it to be very
You
annoying.
don't have to do this alone. You found a crew to join up with. This won't be unnecessarily difficult.
I know that in Metal Gear Solid 1, technically when you got to the second disc is when you needed the second disc from then out, but I think they fixed this in Twin Snakes where you only needed to change the disc depending on what part of the game you're loaded at, which is a much better compromise, honestly, compared to just how the original game did it, but whatever. Metal Gear Solid 2, you had a pretty decent area to do some fun shit around. I know that in the tanker, it was basically up until you go for that room, up the hallway and shit, and then you fight the guards and then in the plant section, it's when you trigger the Harrier fight is when that point of no return basically kicks in, and the rest of the game just becomes entirely linear, which is why I feel the game was rushed to an extent. There's so many other sections of plant that could be interesting to go through, but yet you just don't get to play around with them whatsoever. It's not insane.
Don't rush in just yet. We're doing this calmly and methodically. Drone for some reconnaissance on the store.
Like, Metal Gear Solid 2 is already divisive enough as it is, but I really don't like the fact that essentially the second half of that area is just completely gimped for whatever reason. I just think it's bullshit, personally.
Got them? Alright, now get them over to our client. They know these diamonds will be hot, but there's hot and there's hot. Don't lead any police to the drop-off. Okay, watch yourself. We're visible to the
But,
competition.
let's see. What other points I want to bring up? It's gonna be really hard to make it to a highlight, honestly. They also had autosaves for some reason, which I don't understand. Like, last I checked, saving too many times, unless you're playing like Metal Gear Solid 4, would actually ruin your rank. Like, who fucking asked for autosaves in Metal Gear, honestly? I know this seems really weird, but last I checked, the checkpoint system in Metal Gear was a little bit annoying, but it wasn't really that hard once you figured it out. I know in the original Metal Gear, it was based on going from those elevator areas, and then in Metal Gear 2, it was based on the route that you last entered. Like, when you see the little Foxhound logo with the little animation, that's when you basically get a checkpoint. It is annoying, yes, but it's kind of like once you pick up on it, it's easy to understand. And the same can be said for all the other games I've followed after, is that basically when you enter a new area, is that when you can save your game and stuff. So, I don't know who is playing Metal Gear and is complaining about autosaves or whatever. Like, I don't get it. Like, isn't that like the same thing that they did with Metroid Dread, and yet people were fine with it? Like, I don't get it. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist, even though it's kind of pointless anyway, since, like, the checkpoint system, at least in Metal Gear, is particularly too bad. It's only really annoying when you're fighting a boss and you have to do 2 phases or whatever, like with Metal Gear Ray. But since it's since it's like the final boss or whatever, I guess it makes sense, but it's still annoying as shit. I'm not gonna pretend that the game should give you a checkpoint, but you know, it's how Kojima designed, that's how it is. I'm so bitch about it, but I'm not gonna demand any changes for my sake. Don't be fucking stupid. I just don't know who thought that a game where if you save too many times, it'll actually ruin your rank, you need a fucking autosave system. Most of the areas in Snake Eater or whatever aren't really that big anyway. So I don't get it. I honestly, God, do not get it. Hell, there were games back in the PS2 where levels just took way too fucking long, and there was no like autosaves or coming back to it. Even as tame as like Lego Star Wars 2 was in that game, once you started getting to the Return of the Jedi levels, those levels were really fucking long. It wasn't until the complete saga where they added the option to let you save and quit when doing free play, so you have to do the entire fucking level again. That shit is infinitely more annoying than the bullshit that you see in Metal Gear games. And those Lego games are basically designed for kids. And yeah, they have much more cruel, unusual checkpoint systems than a game basically made for adults. How fucking ironic is that? I guess to be fair, a lot of games made for kids back then were also pretty damn hard, and sometimes not for the right reasons. It's like of Lion King to an extent, but not as bad, I guess. It's just that a lot of the levels in Lego Star Wars 2 were pretty damn long, especially when you got to the... I'd definitely say when you started getting to Return of the Jedi. and maybe a little bit after some parts of The Empire Strikes Back. And it's only really annoying because if you were to, say, have the power go out or whatever, or if you were to quit or whatever, you would actually lose, like, legitimate progress. I don't know. It's, I don't know if people needed an auto-save system in a game where the checkpoints aren't even that bad. I hate to use the meme comparison. Not even Dark Souls is that punishing as far as checkpoints go. It's just the game literally autosaves to 1. The only things that really make it difficult is the bonfire placement, which are your retry points, and that there's really no undo button. It was really only annoying if you accidentally kill an NPC because you play controller down or whatever. But that's really about it. The rest is on you. But whatever, I'm not gonna fucking rant about some bullshit. One thing that definitely is loud though is that they essentially added a legacy mode compared to like the third person nature, which is a little weird to me, since it basically tries to replicate the original game style, whatever. But there's also other things that the devs added or whatever, which apparently the people who made this remaster also did the Oblivion remaster, so who knows how that's gonna go. But it's definitely something I don't have any interest in, or whatever. I also recently found about that too, is that the people who made the Oblivion remaster did the whole Metal Gear Solid Delta shit. I will completely stand by the fact that people already got the PC port of the HD collection, which should be more than good enough for these people who want to go on about game preservations and shit. But it has the Ape Escape mode, so that must mean it's great. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm not playing some shitty mode to get some items that are practically useless in the main game anyway. They should have at the very least brought back the boss rush mode, or dual mode as it's called. It's basically the boss rush mode for Metal Gear Solid 2, and to a lesser extent in Twin Snakes. But it's just fucking dumb. And it also doesn't help that there's even like a Bomberman game mode in there, so it's gonna be like with Soul Calibur 2 and even Super Bomberman R, where there's platform exclusive content, which is fucking retarded. I thought people got past this. I guess not. I find it just as shitty, honestly, since like you basically buy the same game for $140, just get one extra mode or whatever. It's just fucking stupid. But yeah, that legacy mode is basically it kind of plays like the original, I guess. But another thing that they also added to the game is Bullet Job, which I know G-Man definitely complained about for a bit, which is funny because I know that he would complain about like balancing in a single player game, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he would go bat to bat with people if they so much as criticize anything that Doom Eternal did. But whatever, I ain't gonna even really get into that, but just know that he did basically defend the fuck out of that. And even with Doom the Dark Ages, when that came out, with its whole unbalancing of weapons and shit, but again, whatever. Same dude who practically dick sucked Doom Dark Ages is basically going to go on about weapon balancing in a fucking game where, whatever, if you know, you know, but still, it's just fucking retarded. I think he also made a comment about the crocodile skin and the gold snake, which was the biggest dream of Metal Gear players, except wasn't that DLC, dude? Yes, another reason to not bother this is by adding in DLC for a game that didn't even fucking need it, but whatever. The closest thing that technically did have DLC was the extra camouflage skins, which you get by downloading them or whatever through Konami's website at the time, but they didn't really change much. Except for like the infinite grenades. That was basically it, but it didn't really change that much in the grand scheme of things. you technically didn't miss out on that much. And even then, there are already like platform, or no, sorry, yeah, I'm not sorry, no, I'm sorry. Wow, I can't speak. Regional exclusive skins and shit that are, I'm pretty sure, is still only in the original Snake Eater release and not in Subsistence. So you're technically not even getting the full package from there either, but whatever. It doesn't help the fact that the European version of Snake Eater got a lot of the extra content that would eventually see in Subsistence, like of European Extreme and the different nationality flag skins for Snake, or face paints, whatever. So, while technically not DLC, it would have been incorporated into it today, so whatever. He brought up a comment about game remakes, and it's like, do we need a Resident Evil 4 remake, dude? Do we need a remake of Silent Hill 2? Do we need a remake of Dead Space or even Final Fantasy 7? No. No, we don't. I also like how he brought up how that Metal Gear Solid 2 finally was let go of the shackles or whatever, because Silent Hill 2, it had an Xbox and PC port or whatever, but it's like Metal Gear Solid 2 was basically PS2 exclusive until the HD collection. Even then, people complained about it because it didn't have the fucking button sensitive prompts. So I'm pretty sure even he complained about, and even the removal of Ape Escape mode and the boss rush mode, which the only people complain about now. Wow. People like legitimately complain about the fact they removed the Ape Escape mode, but not the fucking boss rush mode. Also, let's not pretend that Kojima was exactly gracious with Substance and Subsistence, because I'm pretty sure if you got those games on PS2, you basically had to make a whole new save altogether. You couldn't like carry over your save or whatever. Like, if you were to say beat Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and you were to get the game on Subsistence, you had to go for the game on normal whatever to get Extreme or some shit. There was no data carryover option for Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3. So, let's not pretend that Kojima wasn't exactly gracious with that either. I don't say this to be a hater or whatever, but it's just reality. Yes, Subsistence and Substance had a lot of extra content that wasn't in the original. Which, honestly, Sons of Liberty was way less content-packed compared to Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, you had the VR training, which, yeah, was kind of lame, but at least it was something, like a little practice for players or whatever, and then with the integral disc, you had that at least. That's also another thing. At least with Japanese players who did get the original version, you were at least able to get the alternate round if you were to have a save data from the original Metal Gear Solid. At least it was something. It's not much, but it was something. And not to mention the actual amount of things that were added in Integral, like the fact that Meryl got sneaking suit, the VR missions disc, and other shit. So there's just so much bullshit people forget with that, honestly, and it's just retarded. But yeah, basically Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 were like PlayStation 2 exclusives. Actually, no, that's not even correct, because at least Metal Gear Solid 2 did get the Xbox port, which was pretty undercooked, as far as I'm concerned, with performance, and then it got the PC version, so fine, whatever. But Metal Gear Solid 3, nope, it was basically PS2 exclusive, just like Bloodborne. Whoops. And there are some other comments that people left. It's just some bullshit, honestly. Like, it's just so much retardation from both the G-Man fandom and the Kojima fandom, who just thinks that Kojima can never do anything wrong. Like, all I'm gonna say is this. I do think that Kojima does make better games than Neil Druckmann ever could. I would still consider Metal Gear an actual game, unlike The Last of Us or whatever, but it doesn't mean that he should be held or not. No. Kojima should be held accountable if he does make mistakes like Druckmann has been doing ever since 2013. And honestly, Kojima has been doing that a lot. Even as far back as, say, Metal Gear Solid 4, or even Metal Gear Solid 2, even Metal Gear Solid 1. He has made good games. It's just that he's just getting a lot more sloppy. We don't want that. But that's just how I see it. Okay, so yes, there's a lot of touch on the Metal Gear, but the gameplay still pulls up. I can't say the same about Death Stranding. It's not just because it's not Metal Gear. It's because the gameplay of Death Stranding is so fucking boring. You seriously can't tell me that the dude who made some of the most engaging gameplay of all time would regress to Death Stranding. The type of game that literally anyone else would want. It's Kojima. Fucking Arc System was made a shitty fighting. I'm gonna call it a shitty fighting. I don't care if they made a shitty fighting. It's just bullshit. Come on. It's just being biased to like the most ridiculous of degrees. What do I know? Generally, the only decent remake of a game that's been out that I can think of is you could definitely call this bias as Blasphemous. I know a lot of people say Resident Evil remake is definitely on that list, but let's be honest, there's some games that is a remake that you don't really like. You could line up the Crimson Zombies as one of them, and the fact that if you do fully beat the game with both Chris and Jill, there's one dangerous thing where you can't ever turn on, so you're basically fucked if you beat the game with both characters over the time. It's fucking retarded. All this could have really been alleviated if there was at least a toggle when you start the game, whatever. You have an option to turn on one dangerous zombie or whatever. So I really don't get that. But the main reason I bring up Rasa Master Zero is because it's a game that actually needed like an actual remake. Since the original NES game is quite good, but it's pretty damn dated, and there's not even any decent Rasa Master games to begin with. The Genesis sequel is really shit. The PlayStation 1 game is... it's not really a masterpiece, honestly. Yes, it's unique in the sense that there's not really many games like it. It's necessarily more better than and then there was that Wii game, which I'm pretty sure that Soft Skeletons from Fighting has made a pretty good video on. Which, speaking of, I can't wait for him to riff on fucking remastered. Yes, even indie developers are fucking remastering their older games, which is funny to me. I can't wait when Shovel Knight does the exact same shit. Like, they're so desperate for fucking but whatever. The fact that Hollow Knight Silk Song is coming out before that is pretty funny. That one quote from Stephanie Sparrow, though, does definitely it's just Heart of Souls, I'm making this up every once in a while, but I don't give a shit. Fucking game is mad overrated. Whatever. really gets attached to it. It's just one of those games that's really attached to it. Any other company would do it. Especially since those social media basically describes exactly how I would feel about so try to get through this shit. Okay, let's see. I think this was before I watched the video about G-Man. Here we go. Okay, so there was a social media post about how the development cycle of Hollow Knight Silksong needs to be studied, and there was a comment that you'll have to forgive me if I copy and pasted it, but it just says so much more than I could ever possibly say, so I'm going to do my best to read it. No, it absolutely does not need to be studied. I have no issue with the game or the lengthy development it had, but working on a game for 6 years and being radio sound the entire time was a horrible strategy. The only reason they got away with it was the success of Hollow Knight, the force in the fan base, and constantly any indie that can break up is absolutely not going to get away with it. Exactly. It's like, they essentially made a Metroidvania that's like elements and the fact that they could basically get away with developing a game for 6+ years that's basically radio silent. No, that shit does not need to be studied. Like, it is unbelievable how fucking bias there is in the game let alone any some more prestigious and, quite frankly, ludicrous political scene or whatever. I guess a lot of bias in some aspects, but Hollow Knight Silksong's bias is ridiculous sometimes, but whatever. I still think it's kind of overrated, that whatever, that's just my take on it, but I do know that, like, the game is in development for a while, and I just hope the game actually for that to be good. After just, like, being burnt out by Souls, like, I just no longer give a shit. Like, it's such a fucking tiring genre. Synthetic Man's brother basically pointed out about how none of the genre that surpassed the copy-paste of the formula of third-person cover-based shooters is the Souls-like genre. He is completely 1,000% on the fucking nose of that. It is ridiculous. Almost every game is either a Souls-like or is a parody of the fucking Souls-like genre. It's fucking tiring. Yes, Dark Souls came out at a time when games were stupidly easy and that they held your hands in it. Dark Souls isn't that fucking special. Hell, it wasn't even that special back then. It was just a game that stood out and was for each one. Since it became mainstream, it's been fucking held up. But yeah, not really good. Fucking nonsense. Some people can just expect shit to be possible. I do hope though that Silksong doesn't end up like Parts 3, Shenmue 3, or even Bayonetta 3, but I just have no hope or anticipation for a fucking game. If I do play it, it'll probably be the PC version, and if I do play it, it really won't be much for a while. Last thing you've seen, it's just a 2D Souls-like and it's Salt Sanctuary is like the only one that really stands the test of time. Besides maybe Code Vein and Space I guess the Surge is also good too. Maybe it wasn't Fallen. But unless I have like interest in it, I just don't care to like play it. I was like, oh well, you talked about AI limit. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is part of the exception. It doesn't mean it's fucking nice where I get around actually shitty. Even the new sound don't get fucking Souls-like combat. It's just fucking dumb. Like, developers are just getting so unoriginal these days. It's like, well, at least the game didn't freeze. I know though when I did this on other difficulties, the game actually crashed. Just swell. I'm gonna try to get to the Act 4 at least. On this, I know the Act 3 and 4 aren't as long, except for, like around the end or whatever. But it's I definitely do want to like actually wrap up this game. Shit. The game crashed on me. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? Wow. I completely jinxed it earlier too. Phenomenal. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, this game is pretty crash heavy, particularly in the later acts, I guess. I guess it's like so much shit on the screen. It's not even funny. Sucks, but it's not like there's much progress I lost. Unlike, well, Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's not Evans revving, it sounds like Sniper Wolf's fucking den, I guess. Not the stupid not VTuber, no, the fucking shitty YouTuber that's a bitch. But like the actual good character from Metal Gear Solid. But whatever. Anyway, I guess I'll close this mission and I'll get off. I really wanted to get to Act 3, but, or not Act 3, the end of Act 3, but whatever. I'll just finish this up, I guess. The game crashing did kind of sour my mood just a little bit. I don't know why. Standoff. I'm starting to keep this weapon, honestly. I don't know, I just like its effect. Shit, I can't care anymore. Okay. Oh, never mind. But yeah, I'll finish up this mission, and I'll probably go to bed. go deposit the legendary I found. And I'll, like I said, I'll get off. Oh shit, I actually unequipped the thing earlier. Oops. Alright, let's go salvage everything. Oh shit, I can do tier 15 shit. Oh wait, there's also other tiers I don't even have unlocked. What the fuck? Holy shit. Wow. Okay. Let's see. I think that should be everything. Unless there's something else I'm missing, I highly doubt it. Wait, I'm gonna get off for now.